Welcome back. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV with our guests, Salim Mvurya, the Governor of Kwale County and the Vice Chair of the Council of Governors. They're hosting a devolution conference, the third one, next week. That will take place in Meru. And we also have with us Wanjiro Gikonyo, National Coordinator of TISA, the Institute for Social Accountability. And we were coming into accountability because it isn't quite reflected on your discussions, your agenda for next week. Whereas in the messages that I read from our viewers before the break, there was quite a lot of talk about devolved corruption, money being wasted, money lining the pockets of county officials. So you asked the question during the break, where is the statement on corruption?
Yeah, I think in the conference, it's coming in, it's actually the first session. When we are discussing about diversity and dialogue and, you know... Unity of objective, diversity of approach. Yes, that's the first session. The panelists in session one of the issues that they are going to be discussing is the issue of accountability and matters on how we can together fight corruption. So it's an issue which is there. But let me also say that as a Council of Governors, I think we've made a very, very bold statement on supporting the efforts by national government and also the EACC to fight corruption in our country. And we've said it very clearly that, you know, this we will only win when we do it within the framework of the law. I don't remember any of your statements, but I do remember the President... We made it several times. Even I do remember the President saying that any member of his government found to be tainted by corruption would have to leave. Yes. I don't believe that the Council of Governors has ever said that if any of our colleague governors is ever accused of corruption, that they should resign or face proceedings. Remember, even when the President made that statement and gave a list, part of that list involved also governors, and I think governors that's not the point I'm making. That's not the point complied with the law. That's not the point I'm making.
I recall governors actually coming out in defense, even before the... And the point I'm making is, I'll rephrase the question. If a colleague governor of yours was accused of corruption, would the governor of Kwale County say to that governor, you need to resign or step aside? I think before we come to whether a fellow governor can ask the other one to step aside, that's the problem. The statement that was made then, that governors step aside. In fact, within the legislation, there is no law that you know that gives the president
the problem governor. The problem governor is when you are seen to be the Council of Governors is seen to be a club of individuals who are after self-preservation. And that's what the statement that Woodwork is making. I actually should have said, sorry, that you are going to make that statement when you get to Meru, because that's what Kenyans are asking. But what you have just told us is that Meru is going to be a talking shop.
Which statement? Which is this one that you want us
to stand on corruption?
I think what we expect, what we've seen, and the big risk for the council is that the war on corruption may become partisan, and the national government may pull the strings of the EACC and actually target certain governors. That could happen. But that notwithstanding, corruption is a problem. And we would like to see the council come out and say we are on zero tolerance for corruption, and we have instituted the following mechanisms proactively. And don't hide behind the law, because everyone's hiding behind the law. It's impossible to prosecute people because of technicalities in the law, yet we know that money is being lost. One, proactive disclosure. Open up your procurement. Are we able to scrutinize who is getting contracts? Who are the companies that are winning the contracts? Who are the directors on those companies? So that you proactively disclose. And Governor Mvurya, I know this is your area of expertise. This is what you studied about accountable systems. You can be a scholar and tutor us on that. Why hasn't the county government said we don't tolerate corruption and we will lead by example and have proactive disclosure and open up all those loopholes where your officers eat because your officers are eating. Revenues are low because officers on the ground fast pocket money. We hear some governors have said 10 million in my office, 1 every week, or 5 million or whatever. So there are all kinds of rumors going around, and the council is effectively quiet. And we are saying we don't want political statements or PR statements. Give us something actionable. Show us that you are serious about corruption, and give us something we can support.
I think Wanjiru is too, you're
we are
optimistic. Do you know this Council of Governors is like the AU? You don't expect, you know, Uhuru Kenyatta to tell President Kagame or Nkurunziza, you know, this is not right, get out. I mean, this brotherhood thing has just been inherited by the Council of Governors. They protect each other, they hang together. They have no moral right, you know, and it's understandable. You have no moral right to question another governor. Let's take it that way.
But even AU has a peer review mechanism.
But can I say something?
Don't have any.
Can I say something about this discussion?
Yes.
First of all, if you want to know the procurement process, I think before we talk about even corruption at that level, there's an audit process, you know, which also happens, and it can identify those gaps. So I think when we want to know the procurement, who has been awarded, who is this, that audit process should be able to tell us. And then the counties also have other institutions. We have the controller of budget, who also looks at how finances are expended in the counties. And then the other issue is that counties have even volunteered to work with EACC. For example, a number of counties, including Kwale, we had a whole week that we worked with EACC to empower citizens on how to report corruption issues. This is an example, you know, of the commitment to strengthen institutions in the counties, so that then we can tighten our belt and make sure that we fight corruption from the preventive, you know, not now in a situation where something has happened. And as a council, I think I want to the panelists to be very fair, that we have made this commitment now and again, you know, on our resolve to ensure that we strengthen institutions in the counties, so that then...
But Vice Chairman of the Council...
And I don't expect that...
you make an admission. I mean...
You have high expectations. You know, when you talk about a governor telling a governor,
yeah, it's not practical.
And a governor telling a governor.
But David...
Because you have no moral authority in the point making.
Governor Mburia, let us go to why we started devolution. The argument of Kenyans was that the money is not getting, some areas are being discriminated against. And we said, let us come with this devolution so that we can share. The people of Kwale elected Governor Mburia. Their own son is not a son from Mandera. Their own son. So that when this money is given to their son, he can use that money to their benefit. He knows that they need roads and other things. You don't at times even need to consult, because you have been born there, you've been brought up there, you've been working there. And if you deny the people of Kwale, you are denying your own mother, you are denying your own child. That is the basic understanding of devolution in this country. And the challenge to the governors is simple. Simple. They will not need benchmarking from Meru or from Mandera, because they have their son at the helm. He has been given 15 billion or 17 billion. He's supposed to use those 17 billions for their own benefit.
Okay. Thank you, Waweru. Picking up from there, you cannot afford to say that it's not practical, because the whole constitution is premised on changing our governance system, like Waweru has said. That's why devolution came in place.
Exactly.
So, Governor, let me assist you by being very practical, because in this country we are really tired of the platitudes. We are getting them from national government, we are getting them from county governments on corruption. What do we need? We need, in the budget process, how much money has been allocated, make that process open, have public participation around the process, and hold that as a standard that all counties will do. Then, as you implement, you have quarterly implementation reports. In your implementation reports, detail all the projects. Tell us how much money has gone into those projects, and make that report available to the public, so that I can go pick the report and go and confirm if that project is there. And then allow citizens to give feedback to the county governments on the way they are receiving services, so that you have some sort of county monitoring system. So citizens citizens are able to have an ongoing dialogue, not just in identification during the planning process of the budget, but right through during the implementation and the monitoring. So for me, I'll be happy to hear a statement from the Council of Governors that is practical, that is measurable. Not just we don't stand for corruption, we'll work with the EACC. That is still a platitude. David?
Okay, but I want to say something on the systems, yeah? I think as far as I know, the issue of sharing the budgets is happening in counties. And that's the whole essence, by the way, of the public participation in budget making. The budget document, once it is finally done, it becomes a public document. So
I think citizens can
access, you know, they can know this water project is this millions, and to even do further efforts, like for Kwale County, we even go to the ground when we are doing groundbreaking of that project. We also say that this project costs this much. We have project committees, you know, who also have access to the bill of quantities and supervision at that level, so that they can be able to be the first responders, you know, in case there is short work which is being done. So I think it's not lost. You know, counties have these systems. It might not be all counties as of now.
I just want to,
you know, but I think this is going to be progressively going to be achieved.
It's a good attempt, and I've participated in these initiatives in my county, in Bungoma. There's a good attempt at compliance with these processes, with the basic tenets of devolution. Public participation, you know, in all these processes, budgeting or even prioritization of projects and so forth. And the level of performance varies from one county to another. There are those which are doing better than others. But in general, there are also equally serious attempts to circumvent these processes or just paper over, you know, you go through the processes as a ritual. But in fact, the very things that we're supposed to cure are happening. They're thriving under there. Projects being, you know, allocated, money being, you know, stolen. Optimal use of resources at the county level, as was intended in devolution, has not been achieved in this country. I think across all counties, there is none which can escape that sword. There are things which I must give, you know, credit. There are things they're trying. But also, we must appreciate that this is a journey, so they're polishing as they move, But we are far from the ideal. And what I expect from the Council of Governors and from yourselves is an admission that we are trying, but these are the challenges which we are facing, and so how do we confront them? You know, in legislative terms, in administrative measures which need to be discussed then to arrest that situation. But now when we hear the governors and anybody else in the county government, there's no admission of this thing. It is we are doing. How much is wrong is never admitted.
No.
Yeah, which I'm really keen to hear.
Okay.
For example, on the matter of civic education, just a quick one, I would work. Which is a big need in this country, because people at the grassroots don't understand even the functions of roles of different officials, whether it's the MCA, the Legislative Assembly, the Executive, what are their mandates and how far are they implementing. People don't know, so they're expecting wrong things from wrong offices. And the civic education function is a county government function. Very low has gone into it, so we'll continue having these challenges.
Okay, so our time is up, our official time is up. I'm instructed to wind up, and that was a good question for us to consider as we make our closing statements. The theme for next year's Devolution Conference is consolidating the gains, looking into the future. And I think, Governor, you'd agree that you have been given various templates to assist the Council of Governors and the various counties going forward. But the challenges going forward, what sort of future do you see as we go into elections? In fact, you're talking about that, electoral integrity in a devolved system. So as we wind up now, look into the future from where you sit, look into the future of devolved governance for us. Waweru?
I think I must say the future is good.
Future is bright. You see a bright future.
Kenyans should be hopeful. When it comes to elections, they should elect the right governors, just like they would elect a good president, a good MP, and a good MCA. I think the governors need good backing. They need backing. we still seen good things in the county governments. I said off camera that I have seen good hospitals that have improved. And you can use the example. The president today or tomorrow, I think today will be in Kiambu and Thika. I've seen the 5 hospitals in Thika. In Kiambu, the hospital is very good. We must give credit where it is due. But we are only challenging Governor Mvurya on issues that would help our people. But I can assure you that the devolution idea is still a great one. All that we need to do is to improve on it.
David?
Well, I think that I would say, if I was a citizen, now we know where power is, what the responsibility of different people is, and going into the future, I think the citizens are going to decide with a bit of knowledge who to vote for in what position. And I think if I were given opportunity to prioritize, I would think the next 1 year, county governments and the national government ought to spend more time on civic education of the different positions in underdeveloped government, our current government, so that people can elect people knowingly.
I think my parting point would be, I'm a big supporter of devolution. I believe it's really revolutionizing our country, but I urge the Council of Governors to really embrace the revolutionary and transformative aspects, not to open up devolution just enough so that they are comfortable, but to really empower the citizens through public participation, civic education, open government, and to take the comments that we've given here constructively, because we want less corruption, more performance at the county levels.
Okay, Governor, you've got the final word. Yeah, look into the future. Sorry?
Okay, I think let me talk about the devolution and the future.
We didn't give you a chance to talk about Kwale.
But before I say my parting shot, let me also just make an announcement that Diani Beach has been voted, consecutively as the best destination, in Africa.
Congratulations!
And,
could not miss that.
I wish just to invite the panel, and all Kenyans to visit Diani. Devolution 3 years down the line has worked, and I think what we need to do is the challenges that we're facing. Let's address them as we move forward. Useful comments have come from this particular discussion. Again, even from the conferences, useful comments will come. And I think that is where we need to look at the gains, which are really promising, and see how we build our gains into the future. The challenges of implementation, the challenges of roles between the national government and county government. I think we've come of age now. We are very much aware which level of government should do what. We really don't need to go ahead with the drama. Like the issue of roads, our citizens need roads. We don't really need to fight over between the national and the county government. What belongs to the county, let it go to the county with the resources. And these are the issues that as Kenyans we really need to address. Even the issue of parastatals. We don't need duplication. We waste resources. If a county is doing a borehole, let us not be fighting over one borehole when there are, a number of citizens who can't access water. And I think as we move into the conference, we are looking forward that now we can move with maturity so that we can be able to realize even more gains as a nation.
Thank you very much. So our time is up, and we thank our guests for their time with us on Cheche this morning. Our guests were Wanjiru Kikonyo, the National Coordinator for the Institute for Social Accountability, TISA, and Governor Salim Mvurya of Kwale County, who's also the Vice Chair of the Council of Governors. For panelists, we've had Waweru Mburu sitting in for Mutegi Njau. Mutegi should be back with us next week. We've also had David Makali. My name is Udwa Kamimo. We'd like to thank you for watching and engaging with us here on Cheche. We'll see you next week.